Welcome to my channel BornToReddit. What turns an attractive person ugly? Freaking truth. Worked at a gas station, and one of my regulars was honestly attractive, but she hung out with the wrong people and liked to party/club. Not sure where though, because where I live there isn't a whole lot of clubs if any, so maybe bar hop, and she'd usually stop by my gas station on her way to the club or way home drunk. But as I said, she hung out with the wrong crowd, so I slowly got to see her decline. Seen her hooked, drunk and high on marijuana. I seen her high on cocaine. And this whole time her appearance is getting, not really worse, but changing. She's becoming more thin. Eventually I left the gas station, got a job somewhere else. I came back a year later to get a Red Bull on my way home from work, and say hi to a ex-coworker when I smelled something just horrible, like a mix between chemicals and sit. I turned around and this customer is walking by. And at first I didn't recognize her. Her hair had knots in it like she hadn't washed it in weeks. It was a mess. She was practically a skeleton. She wore some old sundress that had holes in it. It honestly looked like she was homeless. I walk up to the counter, pay for my stuff, and then my ex-coworker takes a break. There was another employee there who rang the rest of the customers up, and we go outside to have a smoke. First thing I say is, holy frick, I didn't recognize so-and-so. Ex-coworker just says, yeah, she got into meth and pretty much went downhill. Freaking meth is horrible. Sit. Having a city arrogant attitude. I heard once, I don't care how pretty they are. Someone, somewhere is tired of their sit. This is the PC version. It's also no matter how hot they are, somebody is tired of freaking them. Very useful after rejection or a breakup. Edit. I've got a frick ton of little Reddit pricks responding to this, and just being assholes to dancers. They're people. Most of them don't want to dance, strip, etc. But they need money like most of us do, and they have a commodity that they know people value with. Money. Half of them that I met were single mothers completely dedicated to their children, sober, etc. Stop being ducks to dancers. It's a job, not a personality trait. Personality. Like, they may seem cool and nice at first glance, but when you really get to know them, your views on that person just changes completely. Their smell. One of my biggest fears is that I'm smelly and can't smell myself. I'm not one of those people who retains scents on my skin, body wash, lotion, perfume, so I'm constantly nervous I'm stinky. I lived your fear. At my new job I wore some of my old work clothes for like 6 months from my previous job, and apparently I stunk of ammonia. Yes, I washed them pretty regularly, but apparently not with strong enough detergent. No one said anything to me during that 6 months till I could get my current work uniforms, and I just found out maybe 2 months ago after I had the new uniforms for almost another 5 months. IDK if I was just that used to it from being around it all the time at work or what, but I wish someone would have told me. Are your clothes mainly polyester? Polyester can retain scents even after washing. I drew the exact fabric, but I know they weren't polyester. We were given something that was definitely some kind blend between cotton and some sort of fire-retardant material/coating. I worked around molten aluminum, so we weren't allowed wear anything that was synthetic under our cloths to prevent it from melting to our skin. Edit. Found one of my old work shirts, can definitely smell the ammonia everyone was talking about. Says 50% rayon, 40% wool, and 10% nylon. Selfishness. Especially when it's the last slice. That last slice decides whether you're selfish or not. What if you're the guy who made it? Asking for the guy who made it. He can keep it, the last slice was probably cold. Not talk to you because you aren't as popular. How they treat others. I went on a few dates with someone really good looking, I thought so anyway. All she did was make fun of the way other people looked, dressed, acted. It was so tough to take, but I kept holding on because of her looks. I realized how shallow that made me too. It happens. We stick with bad people for all kinds of reasons. Lack of common sense and humanity. Lack of common sense. I dated a 30-year-old woman who was just not very smart. Very nice looking, pleasant, but after a little while I figured out that her kind of low IQ permeated all parts of our life. She was also convinced she was ready to be a boss, be in charge of people. However, she kept on getting fired from secretarial jobs, office jobs, because she couldn't do the work. She was still trying to get and spending money on classes for a community college degree. She was somehow convinced that this would change her life. She had put $1,000 into a mutual fund 7 years earlier and got a good rate of return. So she now had $2,000. She was confused. It apparently never occurred to her that you have to invest more or keep putting money in, even at a good rate of return. She apparently thought she would invest $1,000 and become a millionaire. It was difficult being around her. Someone who is rude to customer service workers, such as a server, a sales associate, a receptionist, etc. It shows their true character, especially if that worker is trying their best to do a good job working a minimum wage job. Arrogance. Where's the line between confidence and arrogance? For me, it's your consideration of others. If your sense of self-worth revels in, depends on, or simply disregards the devaluing of others, it's arrogance. If you can believe in and value yourself while also uplifting, or at least considering the value of others, that's confidence. The real answer, as with most things, is more complex than this and can change on a situational basis, but this is the top-level base answer for me. That's a good way to put it. I think it also has to do with how you respond to challenges. Confidence is being able to genuinely laugh when a friend busts your balls, or when you screw up and others laugh. Confidence is not tying your self-worth to extrinsic factors. Being in a hole to waiters, janitors, and the like. Or just being in a hole and having a sit attitude about everything. Being in a hole and having a sit attitude. I see what you did there. I'd like to add phone operators to this. I used to work at a call center in WV for a large TV provider, and the lack of decency on many of the calls was astounding. Just the worst, most self-entitled, rude arrogance you can imagine. Ever since then, seeing someone treat someone else as subhuman on the phone for some bureaucratic nonsense that isn't even their fault has been a huge turn-off. Large companies have been very successful at creating an underpaid human buffer for facing any kind of public outrage. Cigarettes turn a 10 into a 4. I'm surprised I haven't seen this said already, but being unreliable. Like when they say, oh, we should totally go to this place, do this thing, watch this movie, play this game, etc., and then either never follow through on the plan, cancel at the last minute, or meet up with you and change what you're doing. Edit. Obligatory thanks for the awards. Pretty sure this is my first gold. I also fixed a typo. I've seen beautiful, affluent, A-game women scream at their kids to get the perfect Instagram pics. Using your offspring as props and turning what should be their best memories into sad photo ops to farm out likes. Huge turn off. I don't know, man. My mom would yell at me too when I was younger to get good pictures of me, because I was being a little sit. That's pre-digital cameras too. I'm a parent, so I get wanting to get a good picture of your kid. I'm talking about the kind of women who present themselves on social media as the pinnacle of perfection at the expense of their children. Not a good look. We'll always remember this story. I used to frequently have lunch with a colleague. We got on quite well. She was an older woman and tried to mother me like the others, but she seemed to be the most welcoming person there. She wasn't the prettiest of women, wouldn't even go as far to say she was pretty, but still she was a nice woman, so this reflected on her face. One day we were eating lunch and she started to scold our other colleagues and just be generally mean about anything and everything. As I went from looking at my lunch to her face, it changed. Her whole facial features appeared to change. She looked horrific. It was only for a short second, but made me think twice about spreading poison about other people. She turned out to be a nasty person, as did the rest of them. Good old office work. Social media obsession. On a similar note, wanting other people's approval and likes. That's a sign of immaturity for me. Agreed. So immature. And I thought you were so hot too. What's something you think would turn an attractive person ugly? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, subscribe or I'll insert tiny little pieces of shattered glass directly into your pee hole.